On the triangle. I'm not talking about the musical instrument or even the mathematical diagram. I'm talking about an idea of a three-sided figure with three corners, which was an idea given to me by my friend Jerry Martin, an industrialist, to explain something which is very evident in our lives, which is that at certain periods, and for some long periods, technologies and science increase very rapidly. How are we to explain the doubling of the speed of computers, for example, every few months, and the doubling of the power of many technologies in an exponential curve in the last 200 years, and getting faster and faster. It's changing our world, but not many people have really worked out how it happens or why it happens. Moore's law, as it's called, which is one of the people in the 20th century who pointed this out, that the speed of computers doubles every 18 months at his time, and it's now every few weeks, I believe, with quantum computing. But why is it? And Jerry came out with this lovely idea of a triangle. Once you had science and industry, at the top you have knowledge, and so you have a new knowledge, the vacuum, for example, or DNA or something like this. You then use that to create new objects. Let's take the vacuum. You get the concept of the vacuum with Boyle. You then get steam engine, the steam engine, one steam engine. And then you go across to the industrial world. They take up this idea and they mass produce it. And so you have many, and a huge increase in power, which generates the wealth for instance, universities to expand. That goes up to increase knowledge and gets embedded in new knowledge, which then goes down to new objects that you make, and you go round and round this triangle. And modern society is going round it faster and faster, because each of the corners has been made more efficient. At the top, knowledge is generated now by huge research institutes and science parks and universities, and a lot of expenditure on research and development. And when this knowledge occurs and new discoveries are made, it's very quickly turned into a product of some kind. For example, the person who co-wrote the software for modern mobile phones, ARM software, or automated risk machines, who lives in my village. That idea, the code for that, was then turned into programming for mobile phones, which then went into making most of the mobile phones in the world, and that has increased knowledge hugely, and it goes round like that. And it'll go faster and faster, as many predictions, until you get, for instance, the singularity, as it's called, the moment when machines can think better and faster and on more levels than human beings, which is predicted now to be in about 20 years or so, or maybe less. So basically, 30, 40 years, one computer will be equivalent to all the human brains in the world. And that's a result of this triangle, which, all things being equal, in other words, no impediments being there, will go round faster and faster as industry and science and research institutes increase in power, and organizations, and will be embedded in good things like drugs and preventions for COVID, but also in smarter and smarter weapons to destroy ourselves. So this is the explanation of why we are, in many ways, as we are, in a technological white heat much faster in my life. I've noticed it increasing in speed very rapidly in the last 20 years, and that is one of the explanations. But it's a matter of all things being equal. And in my talk on traps, I'll explain why things are not always equal.